clothes. So you have where you go to buy your clothes, you have where you go to buy your food, you have places already that you make critical decisions. So when somebody else comes to change that choice architecture, it is really difficult. It's really hard. So we find ourselves as marketers doing the same thing over and over again, albeit in different ways, and of course, not as annoyingly as this, gives. In the age of AI, we have different tools to help us, get our core proposition across, right? How many of you use those old on smartphones, Nokia 3310, anybody that old here? Just give me a thumbs up or an emoji. Anybody here use the BlackBerry? Let me see from the chat if I have any. Okay, all right. So yes, just one person saying they used 310. Any BlackBerry user here? Okay, so somebody else to BlackBerry. Sorry. All right. So when you have tools like that, your ability to market really is not as fluent as what we have now. Okay, yeah, so we have some BlackBerry team too. Now, distribution affects your ability to influence. When we only had pen and paper, of course, you had to be very good at spoken language. You had no choice, right? You had no choice. You had to be good at, speaking, at writing, at using words to convince people. However, when we got smartphones, we had other tools at our disposal. We could use, graphics, we could use videos, we could use audio. So our ability to influence changed with technology. Because when you have a Nokia 3310, you cannot send a video of your company ad, your Instagram, all those things. You couldn't, right? So the ability to keep in touch with technology also influence your efficacy or your effectiveness as a marketer. If you are not vibing with tech, you will find that one way or the other you are handicapped, which is why these AI technologies are very important. Things like machine learning, natural language processing, computer vision analysis, right? These things are things that on the surface, they sound so sophisticated. The tech behind them sound very difficult. But trust me, once you start using them every day, you'll be like, oh, it's just, you find your own words for them. Let's start with machine learning, for instance. Machine learning, like the word note, is simply the ability of machine to learn. How does that work in real life? Think about something like Google Maps, right? You've gone to a place, it takes note of that place you've been, right? The next time you go to your map and type certain words that relate to the place you've been, it suggests it. It suggests that place to you. That is the machine has learned. That's machine learning, right? So it's a bit of an umbrella word that captures everything a machine can do after you give it data, and it stores that data and learn from that data. The next one is natural language processing. Now, everybody uses GPT, right? You go to a chatbot, and you are like, oh, give me ideas for a birthday message to my, boyfriend. And it gives you, dear Tunde, you're the apple of my eye, da, 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 da. That is natural language processing, because now you have a machine that takes in natural language, process the language, understands the intents, and gives you feedback that relates to your query. Simple, right? These are not difficult things because they are everyday activities for us. Computer vision may also sound very, very tricky because, well, can computers see? That is what computer vision means, right? Can computers actually see? And the truth is, yes, they can, because they have a camera. And I'll show you, in today's class, how it works in real life application for marketing. So these are just like fancy terms, but what I want you to know is that as technology evolves, as a marketer, you must embrace tech because it affects your ability to influence, because distribution impacts influence. Are we together and are we vibing? Let's just, look at another key, everyday use of AI-powered marketing. Netflix, you know, is like the biggest movie producer now, in quotes, or at least is the biggest distribution for movies right now. One platform. Well, how do they use AI-powered marketing? Well, every time you go on Netflix, it studies your viewing habits, it looks for patterns, and it uses those patterns to stimulate your decision making. Can you see now that we can't even escape AI-powered marketing because already we've been using it already. I mean, this big tech have been using it to fine-tune our habits, our decision making. Where this current time is different is that these tools are at your fingertip. Somebody say chat GPT. Let me see you in the text box or in the chat room. Tell me, what AI power tool do you use on a daily basis or weekly basis? What's your favorite AI power tool? GPT, Claude, interesting. Okay. Any Gemini user here? Meta AI, lovely. Yeah, Claude, Gemini, Autopilot. Any Copilot user? Aha, okay. So, Claude, interesting. Spotify, nice, nice. Perplexity. I love Wumi's response on Spotify because we tend not to see these tools as AI-powered tools, but actually they are. DeepSeek, yeah, Chinese friends, Nano AI. Okay, I haven't done before. Glad to see that. So, all right, so many options, so many options. I mean, we vibe with them, we use them to make our lives easier. And have you noticed now that these tools already influence you? You are in the intelligence and influence bootcamp. And I'm showing you right now that already these AI tools have influenced you, they've changed your behavior. And today's class, I'm going to learn how to use these tools to influence people's behavior. Isn't that lovely? All right. So let's bring it back home. Let's look at AI powered tools. You know that your OPay is AI powered because, of course, their CEO in an interview 2022 said we use AI to develop targeted offers to customers on our digital wallet on lending, savings, and of course, investment products. That's, OPay for you. AI influences our day-to-day activity because there's hardly a tool, a big tech tool right now that has not embedded AI. However, you are in this boot camp because, you perhaps know all these things already. You know how these tools work. You have an idea of what these things do, right? But you want to use it for your own work as an AI marketer, or let's say a marketer. That's why you are here, not to let me, blab about how these guys are using it. So let me just show you some ways where, you can use them. And I'm going to reference the tools we've looked at before, the Netflixes, the OPs, and then we'll even bring it down to you, your campaigns. You can use AI, of course, to move from reactive to proactive, predictive analytics. Big words. It's as simple as saying you can use AI to move from being a reactor to a person who predicts, who knows what will happen ahead of time. How? Well, you can forecast customer behavior and market trends. How many of you have used tools like Google Trends in your marketing campaign? Google Trends, Google Trends. Let me see. How many people are familiar with Google Trends? Anybody? Okay, I'm taking the thumbs up. All right. Okay, so yeah, exactly. Let me just go to Google Trends for those who might, perhaps not be familiar. So let's look at trends on Google, yeah, and see why your edge as an AI marketer is such that, okay, can you see my screen? Can you see where I am right now at the moment? Yeah. So what it does, like I said earlier, is it process a lot of data and then you use it for your decision making. If you want to launch a product, one of the creative ways you can do that is by looking at trends on, Google. And well, the people like umbrellas this time of the year, right? The people like XYZ kind of flavor. People like XYZ kind of word. Tools like this make your marketing more data driven, you know. So when you think about AI, you move beyond the realm of just, oh, I am going to use ChatGPT to just create some copy. No, you can forecast behavior by looking at trends, by looking at what or how people will react to, what you have to offer. So you can predict product demand. You can use it for your pricing. You can use it for sentiment analysis, transfer marketing from campaign, and then of course impact customer lifetime value. Honestly, I'm bored right now. So we're going to look at an AI campaign. And what do I mean by an AI campaign? Well, we'll see. How many of you have done a video using any of these AI tools? GPT, Gemini, Kling AI, Higgsfield, anybody with any experience with these AI tools? You can give me a thumbs up. Okay, just one person. Two. Okay. All right. Okay. So my assumption is that at least for the most of us, it's still a relatively new experience. In other words, you may not really know what this feels like, right? You may not even know what it sounds like. Let me show you what it looks like. Can you see my screen? Is it on YouTube in your own computers? Okay. All right. Are we good? Yes. We're on YouTube now. Are we on YouTube, everybody? Are we together? Let me show you the power of AI powered. Okay. Yes, the power of AI powered, marketing is something like this. These people got over 102 million views in 2 days. And what they did basically was to use AI to create this commercial. So let's just look at it together. All right, so everything in that video was AI generated, everything, right? And 2 years ago, in fact, 1 year ago, it wasn't possible to get this quality of, video direction with AI. But right now, we have tools that make it possible to create videos like this. And for those who have had experience with things like this, of course, you are aware that I mean, the tech keeps evolving at a very fast pace, like so fast that within a month, these models are getting outdated. So we are now in the era of generative engine optimization. We're moving from search engine optimization to GEO. And this means that we are now optimizing content for platforms like ChatGPT and Gemini. We are focusing on how we gain information on our own unique voice, right? And of course, you need to have clarity, your brand voice. You need clarity. You need, to have stats. You need to have like stats backing you up, and of course, structure. Everything I'm filling here will do most of them. Just want to go through my slides, so just enter practical as soon as possible. But now you can see that, your life as a marketer has changed. You have no business creating content the way you were doing 2, 3 months ago. None at all. If you want to be, more impactful and more influential, you must embrace these tools because it's like you are using BlackBerry when people have moved on to iPhone 17. That is why you need to keep up to date, embrace tools like this, and of course, we'll discuss the fine margin of how do you embrace these tools versus how do you just give your work over to them and just become like a robot instead, which is something everybody should avoid actually. And one way, of course, is by doing your own research. At the moment, it's still not possible for AI to capture the whole customer journey, touch point. I mean, they can try, but they really can't interview your customers the way you would. They won't talk to them. They may not have, that lived experience that your customers have, or even you have of a pain point, right? So when try to get data, most times, what do? You go to platforms like Twitter for trends. Or what's trending? Can we use this hashtag to blow up our mentions or our, impressions, right? Yeah. But behind Twitter's algorithm is AI, of course, taking everybody's chats, everybody's tweets, making sense of it. Which one is the most tweeted word right now? Okay, boom, let it be on our trend. And of course, if you want to know what's happening in a different country from where you are, tools like this can be used. Just simply change, your settings, right? So we see why at this point in time, it is still a game of human-driven AI, marketing. Like you still have to take the control. You just can't give everything over to AI. Not going to work. All right. So let's just go through to one activity. Let's map your favorite brand's journey. This is going to be an interactive section because well, I don't know your favorite brand. So let's even start from there. What would you say is your favorite brand? Oh, yes, you will get this slide after the class. So what's your favorite brand? Any volunteer, anybody? What brand gets you going in the morning or you defer to for your Spotify music lovers? Okay, okay, all right. Still Spotify. Anybody else? Anybody else? Piggyverse, nice. All right, Piggyverse, okay. Who else? What's your favorite brand? So nobody here likes, okay, we have this called Level Reader, Nescafe. Nice one. Okay. All right. So many options. So we have different brands. Twitter. Yeah, of course, Twitter. So we have different brands. Now, who can tell me their memory of the first time they saw this brand? Can you remember? You can unmute and just, give us a little chat of what it was like your first time with, XYZ brand. What was it like? Can you remember? Was it friend recommendation? Was it, you stumbled on it on Twitter? Was it on YouTube?
Hi, Michael. Can I
Uh,
speak?
yeah, sure.
All right, thank you very much. So, good afternoon, Michael. So I'll say for me it is career wise. So it was very
Okay.
much recently, interestingly, they had one campaign where they had just their brand name on
Mhm.
billboards across Lagos. So it got people talking on X. And that was the first time I got to know about the brand and I checked it out. And since then it's been memorable.
Awesome. So the first time was on X.
Yes, yes,
All right. And then from X, of course, you got their app on your phone and you've been loving the experience.
yes.
Awesome. So that's a journey, but it doesn't end there. It doesn't really end there. But I mean, let's just, you know, yeah. Anybody else wants to give me an example of, their experience, how they've experienced their brand, customer journey wise? For those who've thought about Spotify, was it a friend? Was it just you saw them on YouTube or on Google? You were like, oh, I like this. Makes sense.
Yeah, hi, Michael.
Hello.
All
Hi,
right.
Michael.
So my brand is not Spotify, but
Okay.
it's 11 Reader. I got to hear
Nice.
about it from a friend. So I'm an avid reader and I love listening to audiobooks, but it was becoming a problem because the prices of audiobooks were becoming too expensive. So somebody recommended 11 Reader to me. So basically what it does is that it's AI, but it humanizes the AI voices, and then you choose whatever voice you want. If you want a female, you choose the female, you choose what accent you want to hear it in. But what you need to do is
Nice.
just import your book and then it reads the text out to you in whatever
Hmm.
accent you want. So I think it has been super helpful for me because I like being able to do other things while I'm listening to what I'm listening to. And yeah, has been an awesome experience.
Awesome. So, I mean, what that goes to show is that we experience our brands. I mean, the journey is different from brand to brand, right? And most of the time, we tend to think about it from the cost, I mean, software side of things, because of course we are digital natives. So what leads to mind would tend to be software product like Spotify, Level Reader, Cowrywise, and co. But don't think it's like something more concrete per se. What was the first time you experienced your bank? I mean, for those of us who had to go to bank and do transfers online, what was that journey like? Maybe a TV ad, maybe a friend saying, "Oh, I use this bank." So you got to, that was the beginning of your journey, right? And the key thing I'm trying to even bring up from that whole activity is that where it really starts is the mind. Yes, somebody told you. Yes, you saw the trend. Yes, something happened. But the real job or the real journey really starts from it registering in your mind as some form of, memory or an experience that you like. Your first brand experience might not even be a pleasant one, funny enough. But over time, the brand might find a way to adjust their, like the memory you have of them. So it's usually a journey and it's a mental thing, even for physical products. Think of the restaurant you went to, and then the first time you went there and it was like horrible, right? Then maybe somebody was like, "Oh, I went there and the food actually, slaps." So, say, okay, maybe it was my just that day. Then you go back, right? So the influence game is such that, like that geese meme, it's usually, it takes time. You have to repeat the process as a marketer. You have to think about a spectrum of people that may have experienced you different ways. People are on different journeys, right? When they experience your brand. And that is really something you must think about when you create content too. So I want to just touch on this little, great point of how we use AI for content creation, add copy, captions, threads, visuals, and then media jingles. Once again, I'm bored, so I want to just look at it on my computer and see how we do it in the real world. So let's go to our favorite guy or girl, GPT, and let's do something. All right, ready when you are. How many of us here have ChatGPT on our phone right now or on our system? Okay, so let's just try something out. When we can add copy, you want to, create something for a brand. We're going to use a fictional brand. Let's look at Wakanda energy drink, right? And of course, let's assume we are just a beginner marketer. So I don't know much about marketing. In fact, I just heard about the word ad copy today, right? So what am I going to do? Well, help me craft an ad copy for a brand Wakanda energy. Just this simple prompt. I'm not overthinking it. I'm not going to, try and be smart with it because I'm a novice. Of course, here we are, empowering Africa, empowering the world. Don't you just love the way, it just gives you things, boom, even things you might not have imagined, and it feels like, wow, this is actually good. But it is never good enough. The first time, it is never good enough. It's one thing I've come to appreciate with using these models. You can always get better. So I feel like, yeah, I love this, empowering Africa, empowering the world, right? Energy is life, energy is progress, energy is us, Wakanda energy. But some critical things were missing in my first prompt. I didn't tell it my prospective audience. I didn't tell it, oh, maybe I'm based in Africa. But it made some influence because Wakanda links to Africa and I'm in Africa. So it gave me power in Africa and all that. But let's turn the table. Let's say I'm telling this to Gen Z, do better, right? Of course, the language changes because we're giving it an audience now. We said, okay, we're looking at Gen Zs, right? So do better. The words are crisper, they are more on brand. Personally, I would say I prefer this to the other one because it feels like a bit more human. Imagine never stressing about power again. That's Wakanda energy. Smart grid, clean energy, zero drama. Why smart grids though? Right? Why clean energy? Why zero drama? Like, why is imagining that, I am creating an energy product like how do I put it? Um, um, Power brand, let's say solar panel or something. Why not an energy drink? So, of course, this Wakanda energy kind of like sold me away because it's like, well, if it is energy, it has to be, a power generation something, right? But for a drink, so you see the number one problem with just chatting with AI without giving it context. In the world of AI-powered marketing, context is queen, right? Content might be king, but context is queen, and she's the most powerful player on the board, which is why whatever you do, whatever campaign you are involved in, you must have a context dictionary, right? You must have what? A context dictionary or a context playbook or whatever word you want to use, right? But what that will do for you is ground that campaign in a way that covers the key elements. That way, the language, the visuals, every element of your marketing will be in sync with your intention. If you do not do that, the AI will make assumptions, and of course, you can't blame the AI. It's just trying to help you, but it doesn't have context. So someone's going to ask me, like, how do you get a context diary? How do you get a context dictionary? How do you get a context playbook? Well, of course, I'm a novice marketer. So I'm going to assume that I don't know what that is. I'll be like, hold up, you are missing key elements of my marketing campaign. Let's develop a context, let's call it a context playbook. So two things that really help you, and I'll show you how you do them right now. Two things you would even carry apart from marketing, any form of learning you are doing. Two keywords you should apply to your prompt: playbooks and systems. Playbooks and system. And I'll show you how they work and why they are critical to making the most of these AI tools. So I've asked it, okay, you are missing some context, let's develop a playbook. It's now thinking, like, oh, okay, what do I do now? How do I help this person achieve their goals? And when you make AI think for you, right, you realize that your first prompt is always not the best. When you can give it that, that task, make it tax itself, then that, oh yeah, the real thing is coming, right? So while it is thinking, while it's trying to create, the playbook for us, let's even try something else. Let's try something you can use in everyday life. When you watch a movie, when you watch a tutorial, right, on, say, YouTube, for instance, you tend to miss key elements or forget key things after some time. However, what if you had a system that helps you remember the main things that you've taken from that video or from that, tutorial? Do you know that you can even use ChatGPT to create better memory guides? Well, let's try it. I'm going to share my screen right now for a random video that probably doesn't have much to do with today's class. I'm going to show you why you as a marketer or as a learner in this digital age need to learn how to create playbooks and systems, and how this will make you a very powerful marketer. You see my screen right now. It's supposed to be on YouTube. If you can, signal. If you are following up with today's class, let me know. If you're enjoying it, let me know. If you're not enjoying it, just hold on for a bit to get more fun, I promise. All right. Are we on YouTube together? Thumbs up, chats. Let me know from the, okay, all right. In this interesting video, which says, after making 200 mil, this is my best advice to get rich, right? And it's by this guy, Alex Becker, whom, well, most people don't know, but that's not our business here. This is our business here. Let me show you something very interesting. I can copy the transcript of this YouTube, tutorial or video, copy it, go to Docs, paste it. All right. Now, how did I do that? Like, how did I copy this guy's video, paste it? Okay, thanks for your responses. So I copied the guy's video, the transcript, pasted it to Docs, and it's here now. Everything the guy said in that video is here. I don't need to read it. I don't need to spend my time, on it. So I'm just going to, save it, download it, right, as a PDF. Good. I want to note some critical things of this journey and see how you're going to apply it to your marketing. So I've done that. Bear in mind, we didn't read or watch the guy's video. We just went to copy this, transcript. Let me show you something you must have to make use of this. There's a Chrome extension called GLASP, GLASP, right? And with GLASP, I can come to any video and copy the transcript. That's how I did that part. I went to Docs, Google Docs. It can be Microsoft Word. Copy it, take it there, save it as, a document. So that's part one, right, of this journey. Why you need to have playbooks and why you are an AI-powered marketer, why it's important for you to have these tools and know how to use them. So when you do this, of course, you go to our good old friend ChatGPT. And when we come out to ChatGPT, it will have finished creating that playbook that we asked for Wakanda Energy, right? Can we see this now? Can we say that, okay, yeah, we have a playbook for Wakanda Energy? But I'm just going to open a new window and we'll continue our system creation. New window, we are here. So I'm going to download that, start making 200 million. This is my best advice for how to get rich. I'm going to say, go through these transcripts and create a playbook for how to get rich based on it. Just that simple, right? Now, can you see that I don't have to read it, I don't have to spend my time on it, but I can create a playbook based on that man's video. But that's not the interesting part, right? I mean, anybody can do that. Anybody can just copy context and bring them somewhere else. However, what you may not know is that you can create a marketing material from almost any YouTube video. You can create a guide, you can create even ebooks, which you can market and use to. Okay, somebody asked me how do we get the translation of the video? So okay, yeah, thank you. Thank you. Somebody has put the gloves there. So the fun part is how you apply it, it's how you create with these tools. It's not enough to just say, oh, I know how to use ChatGPT. Yes, but can you create a very, very interesting, copy? Can you create a very, very interesting, ebook from it? Leveraging experts' advice. Well, this is how you do it. So you'll be like, okay, now that we have a playbook, I want to teach people how to use this playbook in their daily lives to, become a millionaire like this guy. Just that simple, right? And it's all a matter of acts shall be given unto you. But the key is having a workflow. If you do not know how to copy from GLAPS, if you do not know how to ask for a playbook or a system, it becomes hard for you to not get the end product, which is this. These are very, very simple prompts. I'm not doing anything advanced. I'm not doing anything too complex. I'm just acting it, chatting with it as someone. However, that is not enough. A time comes when you need very advanced prompts, when you need to say, okay, you are this, give me that to get that. I will come there too. But I'm a novice, so I must start from just asking a simple thing. And I think that works for everybody too, because you don't really need to think too much about prompts when you can improve the base material. So it has gone through it and given me an ebook in PDF format. It's called the Kling Advantage Playbook. But I'll be like, well, the title is not so fun. I mean, make it something that will appeal to Gen Z, right? and it thinks and it looks for something and it's like, okay, well, grow up to cringe, the Gen Z playbook. So, but this is not even good enough for me. I want something that will tell them moving from 0 to 100 million like that guy. So on and on and on we go, and we are improving. But bear something in mind. We started from a source material, a base material that ordinarily you would have had access to. And it's a very long document, but through prompting, we made it into a playbook, into a system that we could now turn into what? Into a book from 100 to 100 million code cringe, the playbook, right? Now, the next fun thing from text is, of course, visual. So let us even go through it for this particular playbook. Do you now realize that as an AI-powered marketer, you are thinking through business problems, you are creating copy, you are creating visuals, and the next best thing actually is being influential, actually making people change behavior. And I'll show you how you can use AI to do that. And trust me, it's something most people have not even realized. People use it every day. But tools like Twitter, tools like WhatsApp, tools like Google Trends, they are so useful for understanding your customers. Okay, Abigail has a question. Yeah, shoot. Sometimes when you have questions, just drop it in the chat box. I will always go back to it and see how to attend to our queries. So Abigail, your question. Oh, why is it called a playbook? Well, I guess I was going to say I guess it's fun, but playbook is a guide that usually takes steps to accomplish things. So if you need a playbook for becoming, let's say, the next Dangote, of course, you want to go ask Dangote, like, can you give me a playbook, right? So it's just a common term for guides that goes step by step. If anybody has any other question, feel free to drop in the chat box. It will be a fast-paced class. We're going to just go through a lot of stuff. I can see we are already, whoa, 50 minutes into class already. Interesting. Okay. I'd like to make a very short class, like 1 hour, but I'm seeing that we might have to go beyond that by far. So this is just like, I mean, what is this? What is this? This is nonsense, right? I don't like this. If you see a book like this, will you buy it? But this is just telling me that, well, I mean, you asked me for a visual, a book cover, and I don't know. It's just me trying to be a good person and be a good assistant. Let's go to number 2 for today, which will be what? Pinterest. How many of us here know Pinterest? When somebody says that, they have a question about quality. Because if somebody has access to these tools, whatever content you're pushing out, okay, how does it benefit those? Okay. That's a very good question. It's loaded, but it speaks to the heart of, becoming a robot or having, an AI assisting you. And if you remember during the beginning of this class, I said that a time comes when over-reliance on these tools make you a robot. I also said that AI can't really understand lived experiences of your customers. So you must always be involved in the process. You cannot sidestep that. You can't. So back to our current, journey. I don't like the thing he gave me. It's too bland. It's very childish, you know. And I said, you're gonna use Pinterest to get quality book cover design ideas. So okay, let me just quickly share my screen for you so you can see what Pinterest looks like. Are we all on Pinterest though? Can we see Pinterest right now? Yes, the formula for even making prompts very, very good. And I'm going to show you, which is one of the reasons why I started from a very basic prompt. But any basic prompt can be made a meta prompt or a very loaded prompt. And I'll show you the trick. But I want to go step by step. I want to solve a particular problem and then use it as a touch point for resolving some of these issues. So these are very cute looking book covers here. I mean, inclusion I like. It's lovely. So I'll just come here and steal it. I mean, download it, right? So the other, this one on purpose, right? I'm gonna just download it. So the point I'm making is this. Oh, there's one on Oppenheimer. All right, lovely. I'm gonna come and download it too. But I'm gonna show you something that you need to expose yourself to a lot of ideas. You need to have taste. If you're going to make good products, if you're going to make good designs, you need to have taste. If you don't have taste, of course, you just take anything that gives to you and be like, well, I mean, this is not so bad. Let me just serve it up. But trust me, you're going to lose a lot of people that way. Your market will not sell if you don't take pains to, create actually good stuff. All right, here we are back to ChatGPT, and we're like, well, I'm not really too impressed with that. So take this, take this, take this, and then, let me know. So I'm going to paste those three ideas to go from Pinterest. And we're going to tell it, now, you are training the AI to think like you. And if you want to train somebody to think like you, what's the best way? You behave in a way, you show them. So I'll be like, learn from these book covers and create a framework for book covers, my own book cover, yeah? Cover design. Again, a simple prompt. I'm not gonna, overthink it. So it has gone through these two pictures, right? It's gone through them. It's like, okay, well, the things I like, minimalist font, large, central, avoid clutter, right? So he's not learning from his own mistake. There was too much clutter in the first one. It'd be like, this is just, so keep it to three colors max, composition, imagery style, mood, optional back cover, right? So it has learned from what I served it up. And it's not telling me, do you want me to sketch three different concept prompts what the central symbolic image should be for our book cover? I'm going to say, yeah, sure, do that. So yes, so it's going to go through, this learning process of, this is what Michael likes. This is what his book cover should look like. Now, this is a prompt for the first concept. This is prompt for concept 2, concept 3, right? Now, would you like me to mock up one of these as a draft book cover design? Yes. Now, you see why it's important that, or why the first one will never, or most times will hardly be the best, because there's always room for training with these models. There's always room for you to give them a taste of your taste. So I've given it a taste of what I like, and it's like, okay, yeah, this is what Michael likes. I asked it to create a framework, and from then on, it has been me saying yes to its suggestion, right? So it gave me more things to consider before it makes it. Which of them do we like? So let's choose from the charts. Which of them do you want to be the first? Okay. Oh, okay, no problem. So if you want to reach out to me after the um, class, I will leave my contacts. So for now, let's just decide which of these concepts do we like? The crack marks, the origami jets, or the sketch to statue? One's going to be dramatic, one's going to be playful, one's going to be artistic, right? Anybody has any taste for book design cover? Two. Okay, two as one. Let's go with two. Two have it. All right. So while we wait for it to create that image, I want to go back to that first task we gave to it. Remember, we've been in practically one tool all day. We've just been in ChatGPT. We've not even tested AI Studio. We've not tested, Kling or Gemini or Claude. And these are very powerful tools, right? So, but in the meantime, let's go back to Wakanda Energy and see what we can do. All right. Remember, in the first place, we didn't really serve it up the proper context. And we were like, okay, create a playbook for us, right? And it went around and did a playbook. You've still seen a key part of this, which is knowing that we want to create an energy drink. But many things it got in this context playbook, which I like. Now it's saying, well, there should be a brand snapshot, there should be a cultural context, there should be an audience map, there should be a value proposition, a messaging pillar, your tone of voice, visual identity, narrative frames, channel playbook and cadence. So many good stuff, right? I mean, like 11, Derish, so many. Oh, a lot. Geez. So it's outdated itself, and it's like, well, if we're going to have a playbook for campaigns, or these are the 20 things we should be looking at whenever I want to do a campaign. That is good. That's all dandy. But it still doesn't know what we wanted. Like, we wanted to discuss or plan for an energy drink. So we're going to do something now, which is something you should copy in your own process. Whenever I ask for a context playbook, allow room for generic content so that I can fill in the relevant values. For instance, Wakanda Energy is an energy drink. Capiche? So, I mean, yeah, it now realizes that, okay, I should really give room for context and for Michael to say what he actually wants when we discuss about creating ads. And when we've done this, we can now say, okay, yeah, create a marketing brief for Wakanda Energy. And now going to different just so now it gave me 10 different subheadings, right? But there's something I wanted. I wanted to use that context playbook. Use the context playbook to develop. So it's not going through it again. Let me show you something. Look at the brand overview. Brand name, Wakanda Energy. Category, energy drink, essence, purpose, personality, one-liner, right? Everything now is now shaped towards our campaign in a way that is a bit more interesting, a bit more, I mean, just better, right? Just more specific. There's so much value from creating a playbook or a way for it to think before it starts acting. Lots of comment in the chat box. Okay, okay. Somebody said, how do we write prompts to maximize our use of AI tools? Oh, I'm going to address this. Okay, so somebody, yeah, so we'll make a very good answer on that. Making it think like you don't just settle for anything. Yeah, okay. All right. So many good stuff happening in the chat box. I encourage us to be very interactive. If you have questions, ask. If you have things you want to know, pop in. Like I said earlier when we started, this is an interactive class. Don't assume that I'm going to talk throughout the whole, section. And we are now an hour into our class. At this point, I want us all to do something because I mean, I've been the only one doing all day. That's not fun. I want you guys to ask yourself now, do you know that with these AI tools, there is this running theory that with AI, you can create $1 billion company, a one-person company that is worth $1 billion. How would you like that to be you? You can use emoji to let me know your thinking on that. Okay. Yeah, David, I heard you. I'll have my contact. You don't think it's possible, promise. Why? Why don't you think it's possible? Anyway, why promise respond? I want to ask you right now, what is the most interesting idea you have? Might not even be the one that will bring the most money though, but oh, AI is not perfect. Finance. Okay. Michael, or is it Michael said, yeah, but if you don't think it's possible, all right, let's do something. Let's go back to um our previous prompt. Why you think about that? Why we brainstorm on that issue? Let's go back to our now. How does this look compared to the first one I gave it? This it's not perfect though. I'm gonna say that of course, but within this one now and that first one, right? Within this one, this first design we did, and this one. I mean, there's no doubt which one is the better one. Even if you give like a 5-year-old, for instance, way better, right? You like it here. Okay, I'm gonna send it to you now. So of course, so that is why you need taste. But you need to have a way of bringing your taste to the AI. Let the AI taste your taste, right? If you don't have good taste, you will just settle for nonsense on the AI. Now that we are here, we cannot start editing the book cover. But I won't spend my time on this. It's going to waste our time. I can easily change the name too because there's no way my name is Samuel Wilkinson. I can easily move from 0 to 100 and all that. Let me teach you one more thing you could do at this point that will make it easy for you to replicate things like this. Now we have a design. I'm going to say create a meta prompt that captures elements of this design in a way that I can replicate. Put it in JSON formats. So you teach it, I mean, you've given it your taste, done all that, but you don't want to go through all this process anymore of like, oh, I'm going to start teaching you again and all that. You can create a meta prompt. And from that prompt, you can change some things. For instance, look at this, the title. And copy this prompt now, come here. Okay, it's still even, okay, I just finished. Can copy this prompt, come here, paste it. Let's see. I believe it's possible to have a $1 billion company, one person. And to do that, I'm going to write a book about it, of course. And to even show you that I'm serious about it, I'm going to create a book cover. So I'm going to be like, my $1 billion company, right? A personal journey. Personal journey. All right. Bear in mind that this prompt was created for us by the AI. So for those who have been asking me, how do you create prompts that is, Wahoo and all that? This is one way you do that. You ask for a meta prompt that captures the essence of the previous process in a way that you can replicate and put it in JSON format. Why JSON format? Well, JSON format gives you the elements in a way that you can see them one by one. So we have a key, title, and a value. Most times you can change the value while you maintain the structure, the same structure. Oh, okay, there's a subtitle here, so there's no need to put this here. So I'm going to say what? My personal journey. And my name, of course, is not Sam Amekising, so let me Michael Sumo. The design style. I'm going to leave all this. Like, then the imagery, what do I want? Let's say I want a panda wearing suits, right? Create a vector, let's leave the rest. Let's just leave the rest and let's have it create. Okay, so symbol, let's say panda, aspirational, so the mood. So now we've done all those things upfront, but with a good prompt, we can even change the mood. So aspirational, Gen Z friendly. How to be Gen Z friendly? I'm targeting, let's say madmen like me. So let's say crazy entrepreneurs. I mean, it's a mood I'm thinking, right? Then we say go to work. Let me pause here really. Oh, no, 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 no. This wasn't intended towards women. No, it wasn't intended towards just women with me. So I don't know where you got that from, but it's a class for everybody, please. So you are so much welcome, Promise. I hope you are still in the house. All right. So here we go. It's asking me a question, but I mean, I just wanted to create, just create the image, please. Give me too much space. Why it creates, right? Let's go back to uh, our previous prompt. Let's go back to our previous challenge, really. And when we do that, I mean, I think we can now go to Claude and analyze a customer persona. And after that, probably one or two other things that will really speak to AI-powered marketing and call it a day. Flies, really. But I hope we're learning something useful. Okay. Let me give you the benefit of that and see if you can create. No, you can create. In fact, I'm not even going to waste your time. Let's do this. So let me go to our second tool for today, which will be AI Studio. How many of you have used AI Studio before? Anybody here has used AI Studio? Have you used AI Studio for marketing, creating content, anything whatsoever? If this is your first time, welcome to the club. And trust me when I say this, AI Studio is actually more powerful than ChatGPT. And the best part is that it's free. You can create all sorts of images and do all sorts of cool stuff. So, I mean, has nobody here used AI Studio, Google AI Studio? Nobody, no thumbs up, no chat, nothing. Interesting. All right, let me just share so we can get to work. just before I share, I want to see if we have one finish up our ChatGPT. Okay. So can you see that this image took the same cadence from the last book, right? The same, a bit of, clean vibe and all that. And because I asked it for a panda wearing suit to be my image, it did just that, right? So, yeah, it's actually free. It's free, but when it comes to, just like you have paid version for ChatGPT, you also have paid for um, Google AI Studio. So, but now let's go to AI Studio. Let's do some cool stuff there, and then we'll go to Claude. Do more cool stuff, and then call it a day. It's just flying, man. Like I thought I would finish it in 1 hour, but I'm still stuck here in just the fundamentals. So, okay, AI Studio, where are you? All right. So let me share. Okay, AI Studio. So the website is aistudio.google.com. It has a whole bunch of cool stuff. As you can see here and see. You have the chat, you have the stream, you have the direct media. Let's do something cool right now. Let's look at, oh yeah, in fact, create even more cool, cooler images than this. It's all a matter of taste. Find the right taste, bring it to ChatGPT, tell it, copy this thing or learn it, create a framework for it, and boom, you're good to go. This same process I've used today, you can use for so many other things. Create ebook, create videos, create campaigns, create dashboards and so many cool stuff. So yeah. But let's just do some cool stuff on AI Studio. What I'm going to do is show you the streaming, how to use streaming here. So I'm in the stream thingy, and I could share my screen with it. So I want to share my screen with it. I want to take it to, can I bring it to our chat room? Let me see if that's possible. Okay, can you see my screen? Okay, can you see my screen? Okay, it's in audio setting. Oh, how did I say? I want to AI Studio. Okay. Oh, I think we're having some bits of wait, just 1 minute. Um, it's supposed to just take our, let's do this again. Let's start a new stream. Oh, you're having problem with words. Okay. Yeah, so maybe one thing we'll do is I'll try to share some videos with you that will probably capture the essence of some of the things we are doing in class now. But I want to just, even run a stream, but it's really having a hard time doing that. So I guess we'll just do the next lesson. That would have been so cool. You would have given up about my problem with that. Okay. So let's do the basic, right? Let's create words. Let's go to single speaker audio. Come here. Now, first things first. Things first. Let's go back to ChatGPT. Let's do something very crazy. Well, not really crazy, but I mean, since most of you say it's not possible, we could at least try and tell it to give it a shot. So here we are on ChatGPT and we are saying, well, you know, create a voiceover for this book campaign. Make it as rad as possible, right? So create a voiceover for the book campaign, for the book marketing campaign. Make it as rad as possible because we're crazy entrepreneurs, right? And we're like, we're going to create a company that has, and that's one person we just use. So now it gave us this, and I mean, I'm not going to even do too much work here. Let me just copy it, and let me show you one way you can use AI Studio. Mm. Mhm. Okay, okay. Copied. All right. Now we are in. We've copied. We are going to go back to AI Studio and paste it. Can you see my screen, please? I'm in AI Studio right now. Okay. All right. Remember, we went to generate media option. We went to single speaker audio, and now we're going to ask it to generate it for us. However, it says read aloud in a warm and friendly tone. That's not kind of tone we want for this advert. We want a mad entrepreneur vibes. So read aloud in a mad entrepreneur vibes, right? Just like that. We've picked the voice called Zafira here. Nothing like my favorite voice. Let's see Charon. What do you want? So let's just pick a voice. I want us to be involved in this. Which of the voices you prefer? So we have Charon. What? We have Fele. What? We have Oros. We have Leo. I mean, so many voices really, but I think I think I'm biased towards Charon. So I'm going to go with Charon, right? So now we have Charon. Let's just create the voice. Okay, so now I'm going to click on run. Something nice for free and so it's creating all the forms right now. And I'm investing, you know, okay, okay. Why create this audio for us? I'm just about to try to see and look at our it's pretty long, but it should be able to create it. Okay. My audio is okay. Oh, what about now? Is it better? Uh, yeah, we're having some network. Is it so? Let me just ask: is the audio better now? Is it working? Wow, what is happening? Uh, okay, better a little. Okay, all right. Okay, so let's just listen to the adverts that it has made for us. The voiceover. Right. So, I mean, well, okay, you couldn't hear the voiceover. Oh my, oh my, oh my. So I think we're having a challenge with sharing the audio for Google AI Studio or sharing audio generally. So I'm just going to, skip that part. We can watch it in the um, we can watch it in the recording, or listen to it in the recording because it almost feels like I was just listening to myself here. Sorry about that. I didn't even know. But what we did was we went to AI Studio, made an audio recording using our voiceover for ChatGPT, and it gave us all that good stuff. So at this point, I'll take a pause. I mean, if you've learned something useful today, at least, I'd like to just know which part of it do you intend to apply? What is that one thing you think you want to really change in your marketing from today's class? Oh, no, 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 no. I think we'll put our closing time today for 3:45. Yes, I'm not gonna get to 4 o'clock. So, but let's just talk. I've done a lot of showing you different stuff, but I really want to hear from you guys. Like, what's how are you changing your marketing due to today's class? What's that one thing you really like that you learned today? And I mean, how has it changed the way you see marketing, and how are we using it from today? Any anybody, any takers, anybody who wants to just tell the house your experience from today's class and what you want to improve with AI? Or do I call somebody? Or you can drop it in the chat box too. Anybody, 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 anybody. How has today's class been of benefit to you? Well, I'm just going to assume that, well, we haven't learned anything, and
Hello,
maybe,
sir. Hello, can you hear
okay,
me?
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. So I would say for me, going the route of saying the playbook aspects and going using the JSON, I think that was one thing I would really like to implement because I see going that route is it's actually making things easier instead of trying to
Mhm.
just brainstorm everything and just be typing so much at the beginning. I think
Yeah.
using your route will actually help me. And that YouTube, the claps, wow, that was
Oh,
really a
yeah,
nice one.
class. Yeah.
So
Awesome.
thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Thanks too for really, hanging on. It's been a very interesting class, but also it's been long. It's been long. Someone says they will update their book cover. But wait. Let's look at the crazy part. Let's look at that crazy $1 billion, dollar company idea though. Like, I mean, we should be able to give it a try now. Why not? Why not? So I want to do something here. Most of the time when you talk with the AIs, right? The assumption is like you have one person you are chatting with, right? One person chatting with just one person helping you out. But what if you could compare a panel, right, to solve that problem for you? And this way of thinking should also apply to your marketing, of course. So I'm going to use Claude for this particular case study. And let's now see why it's possible to do it or it's not possible to do it. Let's see how far we can go with that $1 billion company idea before we call it a day today. But I want to use this to show you how you can do research or brainstorming in quotes, and then we apply it to marketing and then we call it a day. So now, I mean, can we all see Claude? Abigail has a question. Please go on. Your hands are raised, Abigail.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, my question is how you were able to to generate that Jensen prompt. Though I've been hearing of the Jensen prompt, I have not
Okay.
actually, this is my first time seeing somebody generating it before my face. I've been hearing of it.
Okay,
But
cool.
there's how you were able to write and ask him, and he was able to give you the prompt. So I
Yeah.
was wondering if there's, I don't know, I just wish I could still see that prompt you
Oh,
wrote. If
but
there's how
you
you are.
can. Yeah, you can with the recording.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's some things you would. I'm going very fast really because we don't have time and so much to cover. But don't worry, you have the recording. So let's do something. Let's just do. I mean, this is our own classwork. Let's just develop a $1 billion company idea, develop the marketing, develop the creative process. At least let's just do it, even though it might not be uh, possible according to some people. But let's see if it's even something we can do in the first place. So let's do this. Let's say I'm having a conversation with fellow marketers. They say it's not possible to have a one-person $1 billion company. I think otherwise, right? Now, one thing I wanted to take from today's class, there's one thing, right? It's how simple I make my prompts. I don't go, even though I know all the prompts techniques you can think of, all of them, I've done all of them, right? I always start simple because it's easier to think from first principles and it's even easier to think simply. And I think the same should apply to your AI. So I did this thing, I asked it to get involved in our arguments and think about it and then give me a response, which is the normal way you would do it for ChatGPT, right? So I mean it's saying that if you give me so many long answer, telling me so many things, it's telling me that it's possible in a long-winded way. But to be honest, I don't trust just its judgment. I'm thinking, well, okay, this makes sense in a way, but what if we get the best minds in business and marketing and so many other fields to come and discuss this issue? And that's what we're going to do. So I'm saying, well, create a panel of the best business minds, best business creative. Who else should we have in this conversation? Best business minds, best creative minds, best maybe tech, right? So I'm saying create a panel of the best business creative tech minds that can properly weigh on this matter. Right? So now, what we've done is we are creating a mastermind. We are creating a mastermind of people that will think, okay, my opinion will not be enough. Your opinion as AI will not be enough. But create a panel for me and let them discuss this thing, right? And of course, it's doing just that. It bought money from Stripe, it bought money from MIT Economics, and it's saying, Jack Morrison, Hollywood producer, Alex Kim, someone who has, researcher. And they're going to just discuss this issue, right? And give a consensus. Now, do you see what's happening here? Do you see how you can create a mastermind and why that also impacts your marketing? Because if you had a campaign, you can compare, like, let's say, a Steve Jobs, you can compare, let's say, an Elon Musk, you can compare, let's say, an Aboyeji, different people from different career paths. Hey, I made this. Come and discuss it and see if it is even possible. And then they will give you a consensus. For your marketing too, you could create a panel of customers and have them go through certain pain points or model, a group kind of conversation and try to source some kind of issues that you may miss normally. So this is one good way we use AI to create a customer persona. Because remember, your persona is an aggregate of all your customers that reflects, the pain points and what your tool will bring to them. So if you've not done this before, I really encourage you to try this when using AI in your creative process. This is 15:36, that's 3:36. So we have just 9 minutes to the close of today's class. I mean, I really want to, I can't even finish my slide that I prepared. So I'm not going to call it a day here, really, because it's been a long, long class. Well, I want to thank everyone for, taking time out to stay to the end of today's class. I do hope I've made you one way or the other an AI-powered marketer. If I have not, well, I hope to do that some other time through some other means. But thank you so much, everyone, for taking time out to stay through till now. It's been a lovely class. I enjoyed our conversations. Floor is open for questions, observations, etc. Thank you. Some people had network issue. Don't worry. Hopefully this thing will be better. Yeah, it's a lot, promise. It's actually a lot. It's actually a lot. But if it's one thing you take from this, it should be the ability to just chat with it, then find a way to condense your chat into a framework or a system or a playbook. If you do that, you'll be way more powerful than most people who are using these tools. Okay, I'm going to assume there's no question. I'm going to assume that, we've had a great time and we're all good for today. So if you have friends who couldn't make it today, tell them next week classes will even be better. Yeah, I would say that. I would say you need pro versions to get the best of these tools. However, the fact remains that you can do a lot with the free versions. So like Google AI Studio, for instance, you can do a lot with it. Something like ChatGPT, you can do a lot with the free version. But yes, you need at least to have one that is pro version. And for me, I would say use ChatGPT because it's the one most people are familiar with. But for me, I use all of them. I use Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT, Suno, Kling, all of them. I use them. But start with one, master ChatGPT to create images, to create, good voice prompt and all that. Then augment it with AI Studio when you can't do the rest. And I think you are good to go. All right. So, this will be the end of today's class. It's been lovely having you guys. Have a splendid week ahead. God bless you.